What's up, everybody? It's me, Joey P. Joe Pizzapia, back with more waiver wire videos here at FantasyPros MLB. And before we get to the names to add to your rosters this week in fantasy baseball, I want to tell you about MOVA Globes one more time, the best Father's Day present ever. They've got all 30 Major League Baseball teams available, or if dad isn't into baseball, they've got cool artwork pieces. They've got pieces from planets. They've got some of the coolest artwork you've ever seen inside of a globe that you don't need any sort of cords or batteries or anything else for. All you need is light and this cool, great taste that I have right here in MOVA Globes. And if you want one of these, use that promo code FANTASY10 right now. Again, they've got all 30 Major League teams, a great gift for dad or anyone special in your life. Heck, you can even get it for yourself if you like. Again, you can get the 6-inch globe or the 8.5-inch MOVA Globe if you like. Use that promo code FANTASY10 to get 10% off today. All right, without further ado, let's get to the names on the waiver wire that are not going to get discounted potentially this week, but you need them to start getting closer and closer to the top of your standings, so let's go. Let's start things off this week with the last call. Matt Vierling of the Detroit Tigers, third base / outfielder, rostered in about 65% of leagues. Now, I know this roster percentage is a little high already, but if he's still available, even in your shallow leagues, it might be time to pick him up. I understand the strikeout rate is still pretty strong. However, you can't deny what's been going on right now, and the guy has been absolutely red hot. Over his last 7 games, he's hitting .438 with a .455 OBP and a .906 slugging. Now, of course, that's ridiculous. He can't maintain that, but at the same time, you do have to look at the bigger picture here, and he does have 7 home runs over 54 games, hitting .287 for the season. Now, the position flexibility is probably the main piece here, and with Spencer Torkelson getting sent down, there should be some at-bats readily available for Matt Vierling, at least in the short term. But right now, with the way he's been hitting, he might be a guy you need to pick up. A guy that I'm really excited to pick up this week is Mark Vientos of the New York Mets, qualifies at first and third base in most of your leagues. Vientos had a great spring, only to be disappointed not making the team when JD Martinez was signed, and he was not a happy camper. But Vientos has played the long game here, and he has been great at AAA. He got the call again. Brett Beatty got sent down, and now Vientos finds himself as basically the everyday third baseman for the Mets. And defense has been an issue in the past for him, but he's made some really good plays and seems to have really worked on that at AAA. So far at 19 games this year, he has 5 homers already for the Mets, 11 RBI. He's walked 7 times, hitting .330. Now, he's not going to be a guy that's going to hit for that high of a batting average, but if he settles into a 25-homer guy who can hit .275, Vientos could be a huge piece of your puzzle going forward, especially in any 12-team mixed league. So Vientos is a guy rostered in about 40% of leagues. It should be much higher, and it will be after this week. So be aggressive on Vientos. He is one of these pieces of the future for the Mets. And let's be honest, the future is now. Speaking of guys who had great springs but never took advantage of it, Miguel Andujar of the Oakland A's, outfielder, rostered in about 40% of leagues. Andujar was scorching this spring, but then unfortunately an injury derailed his 2024 season. But he's back right now with a vengeance and seems to have picked up right where he left off. His first 9 games since returning, 2 homers, 12 RBI, and a steal, hitting for a .368 batting average. Look, I know Andujar's been around for a while, but at the same time, he's still south of 30. So maybe Andujar is just one of these late blooming guys. Maybe it's just a hot streak, but regardless, he's going to play every day for the A's, and so far he's done nothing but hit in the spring and right now in these last 10 games or so for the Oakland A's. So if I were you, I'd pick up Andujar to see if maybe, just maybe, this guy's finally figured it out after years and years of bouncing around the major leagues and teasing us with some big moments that never really sustained. Perhaps 2024 could be different. The good news is you don't have to pay too much to find out. Let's look for some saves off the waiver wire and look to Blue Jays' Yimi Garcia, who is rostered in just under 40% of leagues. With Jordan Romano not 100% right now, Yimi Garcia gets the opportunity for saves in Toronto. He has a 1.57 ERA and a .75 whip heading into the month of June. He struck out 29 guys in 23 innings, not too shabby, and for at least the short term, he is going to be the guy getting saves while Jordan Romano is on the shelf with a shoulder injury. How long will Garcia hold the job? We just don't know, but in the interim, saves are saves. If you're playing in any sort of head-to-head category format, Garcia could be a guy who can help you out in the short term, and even in season-long roto leagues, he could pile up maybe 5-6 saves for you at the minimum while Romano's on the shelf. That helps in the standings by the end of the year, so pick up Yimi Garcia while he's closing out games for Toronto, because who knows? He could end up keeping the job all year if Romano has any sort of setback. What's a waiver wire video without a Baltimore Orioles prospect, right? I give you Connor Norby, second baseman for the Baltimore Orioles, rostered in under 20% of leagues right now. So far, Connor Norby's kind of been a second-class citizen because we all were waiting for Jackson Holliday, but in the meantime, Norby is the one that got the call to Baltimore. He has a 286 batting average with a 374 OBP and a 510 slugging with 9 homers and 7 steals on the season for AAA Norfolk. And since he's been called up, he is showing some signs of life, which is nice to see. He did hit a home run the other day. He did have a couple strikeouts in his debut, but let's try to be patient with yet another prospect, yet another Baltimore Oriole prospect at that, because we all know these guys are hitting at Norfolk. It's the transition at Baltimore that seems to be a little tough, but at least in the short term, Norby is worth adding because who knows, if he gets hot, he could stick and could find his way to an everyday role there in the middle infield for Baltimore, and we know how good that lineup can potentially be. Maybe this is at the expense of Jackson Holliday, but we'll see long term. For now, Connor Norby is worth an add, especially in deeper formats. Now, this last one, you might think I'm nuts, but let's try David Dahl of the Philadelphia Phillies, rostered in, that's right, 2% of leagues. Now, David Dahl got the call earlier this week when Brandon Marsh went to the IL. Now, David Dahl has been a name that's bounced around for a long time. He is 30 years old, and we all know we were waiting for years and years for him to be good in Colorado. I don't know what's clicked for him at AAA this year, but something seems to have lit a fire under David Dahl because he was slashing 340, 416, 660 with 12 homers and 2 steals over 166 plate appearances with Lehigh Valley this year in 2024. So far, since he's been called up in 3 games, he's got a homer and 2 RBIs, hitting 440. Now, I don't expect him to stick around for a long period of time, but if David Dahl is red hot and David Dahl can be useful in your 15-team leagues, then gosh darn it, let's give him one more chance. We all could use an extra bat there. Vientos is still the guy I want to add the most of anybody this week, but who knows, in those deeper leagues, maybe you need to start going to the bottom of the barrel, and maybe David Dahl could be a guy that could help you out for a couple weeks at the DH, utility, or outfield spot. You never know, stranger things have happened. All right, everybody, there you have it. Those are the names that I'm adding this week in Major League Baseball. Who are you adding? Drop your comments below. Help everybody else. We are the Fantasy Pros baseball community here after all, and we are a family. And don't forget, watch us on Leading Off and be part of the family every single Monday through Friday right here on the channel. Myself and the Welsh talking baseball with you. That'll do it for me, Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.